White stone like this can be tricky in watercolor because it can easily turn flat, gray, or lifeless. Can we make a cold stone feel real in watercolor? That's the challenge for today. A pale angel, dark background, and just enough texture to make the stone feel real. I am adding just a little masking fluid here as insurance. This edge needs to stay clean and sharp because later the dark background is what will make the angel glow. The colors for the background are going to be cobalt blue, perylene green, cobalt blue violet, perylene scarlet, a little bit of black that I mixed myself by using French ultramarine and bronze sienna. So that's the experiment for today. Protect the light, build the dark, and let the texture bring the stone to life. So let's get started by painting the background. Now that the masking is dry, it's time to apply the background. For that, I like to wet my paper. As always, the paint alone pack for this video, if you like the tracing, colors, etc., is inside Open Studio and Patreon, and I'm going to put the link below. Colors, we're going to go dark. The whole idea of this is going pretty dark. I'm going to drop it in different areas. For example, here I'm coming with my perylene green. This is the darkest area of all, so I'm also coming with my blacks. This is a mix of blacks that I do with using French ultramarine and bronze sienna. These two to blend in the paper. I have a lot of water, and at one point I'm gonna take it up, but not yet. Now I'm coming with my cobalt blue. This part I want it to be lighter. I can drop some perylene scarlet, which is a lovely reddish brown. Yes, I want this area a little bit lighter, but I still want it with plenty of dark. I just want a little bit of color. Yes, I look like a big mess, but now I'm gonna allow all of this to blend before I remove some of this water. All right, so I'm blending one more time before I'm gonna collect all this extra water that I have in my board. But first, let me do this with some yellow ochre. This part I want it lighter, so this is looking really good. I want to do one more thing while I still have plenty of shine in my paper. I'm gonna make this part of the angel's face my focal point. So I'm coming with some cadmium red, which is a brighter type of red. I'm gonna drop some over there. Let's move some of this extra water out and drop another one close to the nose and mouth area. And a little bit of the cobalt blues, since it feels like my blues have almost disappeared. And at this point, I got that one. You can start seeing the one that we dropped there, maybe some. And I think at this point, I'm just gonna let it dry by itself and let it do whatever it wants to. And now it's time to remove the insurance. I'm very, very happy how the background has dried out. And now you can see why I protected that edge. The edge on the face of the angel is what it makes it move forward and keeps the background and the back. Also, by having those dark colors already established, now I can gauge better how light or dark to go when I'm painting the angel. So let's get to it. Now we have the very dramatic background, the very sharp edge that we wanted. Now we need to paint an angel. Angel edge as white paper. What I like to do is I like to put my very dark colors here, come with very thick paint. First, the idea here is that once this is completely dry, that's the main important thing, let it dry completely. Then when we put with the wash, it will start giving us some texture. As you can see, my paint is thick. All right, this is gonna take a little bit of time, so I think I'm gonna fast forward. Alright, so now that I put my indigo, I'm gonna do the same thing, but with bronze sienna and a couple of places around the wings. Okay, so now we want those very, very dry. So in the meantime, it's a good time to come with a very diluted cobalt blue violet and permanent rose. And we're gonna start warming up some of the parts of this. The light is hitting this way. This is gonna be white. So I come with one that only has water, and then I wet. Then I come with this light diluted wash and I start putting it around this area and allow it to touch the wetness. You can put a little bit more of the cobalt blue violet in some places. I'm just gonna bring it till, say, here. And I'm gonna go from those to cobalt blue. Oh, that's a little too strong. Alright, so I'm gonna do it here too. It's a big shadow, but I wanna think of it as an underpainting. I'm putting some of this very diluted as a way to light up, brighten up my shadows once they come in. Some of them are, like I say, in the pink size, and in others, while it's wet, I just come with cobalt blue. I'm coming with cobalt blue. This cobalt blue is diluted and it's going to activate these darks that we applied before. With the tip of my brush, I pick a little bit on the darker areas and I can just bring some of these where it's going to tell me that I will have to go darker later. While everything is wet, this is a good time to show that I don't have hard edges. To lift, we're going to have a couple places like there where there's going to be a highlight, so while it's wet I can lift it up. While this dries, is a good time to start doing the wings. I'm coming with a pale wash of permanent rose and then into the cobalt blue. I'm bringing it to there, and all that is picking some of the burnt sienna. So if you rinse, you just bring some of the blue, rinse again, go in the opposite direction, then come with the permanent rose and finish dropping it here at the end. So making grays with French ultramarine and brown sienna, diluted right now, and we're gonna start carving the face. The face is the focal point of this painting. Yes, it is a statue, but our eyes will automatically go to that. And there isn't light and shadow, so the shadows will be with hard edges, and that's how we're gonna get the features out. So make a mix of different lighter, darker. For example, this one here is going to be pretty light. Right. Let's just applying some of these light grays and make the nose. This is going to be giving us the nose and the bottom part of the eye. So in a way we are doing negative painting, because as we put these shadows, the features of the face are going to start to show. This is wet. It's a good time to come with indigo. Once I have that with the other brush that has a little bit of the grays, I come and bleed this out. Now I had to let all that dry, so I'm gonna be hopping from one place to the other and coming with diluted indigo and burnt sienna. The thing to remember in watercolor is always it's easier to come back and darker, and it's a little bit harder to lift and go back to light. So build it slowly, and this is gonna start giving us the eye, believe it or not. So yes, we had to come back with more details and darker areas, etc. But for right now, let's just drop the gray. Let's come with a little bit of permanent rose. We're gonna put a little bit on the lip. While we allow that to dry, then it's a good time to put this big cast shadow that is in the neck. Permanent rose, cobalt blue. And now we come with indigo with a little bit of brown sienna. Make sure that your edges are clean. I want a little bit of the warm, but it seems a little too warm, so I'm coming with a very diluted gray. So now I'm coming with cobalt blue violet. And then I'm starting to do the impression of shoulder turning. Come right away with water. We want bright colors, but we don't want them totally bright. So on top of this, I'm gonna add some grays. So let's just finish putting the dark tones on the face. This is indigo with burnt sienna. We got a big shadow here, and as you can, a little bit more round here. Top with water. So I don't want to have a hard edge, so I'm gonna go ahead and wet this part because I'm gonna darken this other part. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this big shadow that comes from the head, separates the hair into the forehead. And we're going to bring this down till the part where we wet it, which was somewhere around here, over here, forming the eye. Like a zigzag. And again, just go with the one that has only water. Don't bring it. But I'm building the face, but I also want it with sharp edges so that it starts feeling like if it is a stone. So I'm gonna re-wet because this part is kind of drying. Let's start bringing it on the cheek. More to less, more to less. Same color, now that this has dried, same colors are gonna come here, separating the nose from the lip. We're gonna go darker. So we are playing here with the painted and unpainted areas, hard edges, which is what is making us the impressions of the features, eyes, mouth, etc. This is also where the edge is very clean. I want to keep that edge clean because this is where the light and the dark background and the emotion of the painting all met. Tap with water, let these two blend, and bring cobalt blue violet. Let's switch to a little bit of the indigo, a little bit diluted. Now back, come with the water, and we're gonna blend. All right, so just put a little bit of darks where it gets darker while everything is wet. Make sure that everything blends nicely without having extra lines. And then we're gonna allow all of this to dry by itself now. And this is the part where the light alone is not gonna be enough. Although I need to bring some texture, otherwise this is gonna look like it's made out of plastic. So the light gives us the drama, but the texture gives us the realism. You can see the good thing is that we're not starting from zero. Those original colors that we put at the beginning already giving us hints of texture, and that is a good thing. We're gonna go ahead and start wetting till around here. I come with the indigo and brown sienna. And I'm gonna go ahead and start dropping these colors here. With all these hard edges, light and shadow, we also building the shape of the statue, the archangel. So let's just go, it goes round in one direction. Now we're switching to the other. Everything is wet, just drop a couple darker where you want it, like here, maybe a little bit there, and for sure here and the roundness part of the head. Well, we allow that to dry, and since they will be the same colors, I'm gonna wet a little bit in this part. Gonna leave a little bit of edge out there that is lighter, and then I bring in these colors here. And now I'm gonna come with water here, like this, lightly, from more to less, more to less, more to less. All right, so this has dried beautifully. However, I love the colors, but this is the part where I was telling you that it could look like if it just doesn't have enough texture. So I'm coming now with indigo. Put a big turning here, and maybe we put two. I'm gonna switch to more of the grays. This is where the light is hitting hard. So I got hard edges. I don't have to blend too much. Darken this one with the brown sienna and indigo. So we're gonna turn it a little like if it is a curl. This is what is making these sharp edges is what is giving us the impression of a sunny day, but also building the shape as I mentioned before. So in this area where the sun is hitting the hardest, we don't need to put a whole lot, just a couple things of dark here, and the middle of all the white will suffice. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna build with its shadow and with its end shape. Then, for example, I want a big highlight there, so I'm darken this up. Okay, so I'm gonna build, what I wanted to do is I'm gonna build a couple, and then while that is a little bit wet, I wanna go back and drop my darker colors. And then I also wanna allow some of these darks that I already put to show. That also adds texture. All right, put a couple directional strokes, and just with the tip of my brush, top. I like to preserve some of the ones that we already built. So now you come with your blending brush and then you could blend some of those. Okay. So now that I have that dark, I can come with water and tap. At the same time that I'm building the darks and lights, I'm building some texture. I'm gonna put a few lines as if the hair is coming lower. And then just tap that as I'm trying to preserve this part. So I have like a curl right here. I love this. I'm not gonna mess too much with it, but I need to put some around here. So I go with the dark colors. I'm gonna bring a little bit of brown siennas, and then I'm gonna come with a brush that only has water. I'm gonna blend this. This part we go from more to less, and then bring some of those colors inside. Some of these brown siennas here also adds to the feeling of the weather. Now maybe this is for rains, and I got a little bit of moss coming here and there. Let's turn this slightly more inside. So go like this and then tap and bring it in. A couple of these darker colors here. A little bit of water, but not completely dissolve it. So I'm gonna switch a little bit of these purples, and if I darken this slightly, I love that. I don't want to mess around with it too much, but if I darken this a little, the colors of the neck, and then I just tap with water, you see I created a bigger highlight. While that dries, let's just bring some of the purples, and we're gonna do the inside of here that is gonna separate the body from the clothing. So the light is hitting this way. A lot of this is gonna be washed out by the light. Just a couple folds on the clothing. I'm coming with the cobalt blue violet, then go with water. Basically we drop those colors, then come with one that is a little bit has the same color but a little bit more paint, and then just put a couple shadows. But now we move over here to a big shadow, and for that I'm gonna go ahead and put it hard edge and a little bit more of permanent rose too. Drop it. So I'm waiting. Then come with the darker colors. Go from more over here and down here, less because I'm gonna come with water, and now I just want this to blend. While everything is wet, I can come and put a couple folds over here. The color that I was using is permanent rose with a little bit of indigo. And since I have these colors on my brush, let's just bring a little bit of this nonsense that is here too. To finish this gorgeous picture, same colors but with a lot more paint on it, and I'm just gonna drop a few things here as if they are part of the clothing. Let's make the edge darker. It separates the clothes. I don't want to make the whole edge, just till around here, but I'm breaking it. Then yes, I can go with water. Now I have another edge, but say it's here in the inside instead of on the outside. bring it with some water too. And same colors, but with more water. Let's just put a little edge here because this will be lighter since it's hidden by the sun. We're also gonna put a little bit of this design on the clothing. Just all I'm doing is dropping some color. So we're gonna go from lighter, darker inside these areas to lighter in this other part. All right, I'm loving that. Let me see if I had to, this needs to be a little bit cleaned up. Let me clean it up with this scrubbing brush. This is where the winds come. And let me revise. I'm pretty happy with it, so I think I'm gonna call it done. What I love about this painting is that the light gives us the drama, but the texture is what keeps this painting from looking flat. The paint alone pack for this video tutorial is inside Open Studio on my Patreon, where you will find the tracing templates, the final reference pictures, colors, etc. I will link it below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. As always, I thank you for being here. I hope you learned something today, and I will see you in my next video.